Welcome back to episode 28 of Not Another Moto Pod, hosted by Sam Fury. This week we'll recap the Spring Creek National from Millville, Minnesota, home track of Jeremy Martin, who ended his career with a fairy tale ending this weekend. Another win by Deegan and Jet to extend their points leads in both classes, and some unusual results in both classes, which led to even more excitement on the weekend. Starting as always with the 250 class. First place again on the weekend, as we talked about in the intro, Hayden Deegan going 1-2 in the afternoon. Really good bounce back from him after last week. We saw in the first moto last week, obviously he struggled. This week came from behind, had a really good battle with Joe Shimoda in Moto 1 and was able to hold on to the lead even after Joe getting by him briefly. Deegs did put on a push there, was able to hold him off there at the end for first place. Moto 2, not a great start, came from behind, was able to push and just was not able to catch Jeremy Martin there at the end, but a 1-2 for the overall. Just a really good bounce back again for Deegan's, gaining more points on Joe Shimoda, almost putting this thing away. He's got a 45-point lead now on second place in the class and over 100 on everybody else. So Deegan really, again, coming back after struggling last week and proving that he is the alpha in this class. Second place on the afternoon, really the story of the day, Jeremy Martin going 3-1. Just an unbelievable story. Literally could not have wrote a script. If a movie had this, you wouldn't believe it. The way that J Mart was riding earlier in the year and the crashes that he had, just not riding well. Obviously, we know he took a few weeks off, had been planning for Millville even in the preseason. Was going to ride on a 450 before he received that star deal for the year, but going 3-1 on the afternoon, winning that Moto 2 just outright, battling with the guys up front all day, 2 unbelievable hole shots, really just a storybook ending for Jeremy Martin as he rides off into the sunset. Saw a story today from Alex Martin on Instagram. J-Mart is already out there weed whacking again at the track, so just really unbelievable to see what he was able to do at his home track. Third place on the afternoon, Joe Shimoda. Joe is now, again, 45 points back of Hayden Deegan in the points race, but is only, the only guy within striking distance at all, even if you consider that striking distance, I suppose. Going 2-4 on the afternoon. Really probably had a chance to go 1-1. Really probably missed some opportunities. Did have a battle with Deegan and was unable to shut the door on him. Got second in Moto 1. And then, of course, his brake went out while leading in Moto 2, and he had to give way to Jeremy Martin. He did make a last lap pass on Jalik Swoll for fourth position, so that was good to see that he fought all the way down to the end to get third overall on the day and keep those points where they are. Fourth on the day, Mikkel Harrop, another fourth, going 4-3 on the afternoon, finally getting that moto podium out of the way. He's been right around there for the last couple races. I really honestly think he's probably going to put it on the box somewhere in these next couple weeks. He's just riding so consistently, leading the Triumph guys this week. All 4 of the Triumph riders were within the top 10, the first time that we've seen that this year, but Mikkel Harrop is really proving that he is one who can be in the battle. Just really good riding overall from him, and he looked comfortable up there and in third place in the second moto. Fifth place, Garrett Marchbanks. A good bounce back overall for him. He did, of course, go 7-7 on the afternoon. Maybe not his best moto finishes, but a good bounce back after a rough 2 weekends that he's had. Seventh is more probably the tail end of where he belongs. He's probably, a 3-6 guy realistically. But these last few weekends, he's gone 10-8, 12-8. So a 7-7 to bounce back for fifth overall. Good for him. He did, of course, have to fight back through the end of the pack, but did a good job of doing so. Sixth place, Levi Kitchen, 13-6 on the afternoon. Was fighting up front early. I believe he was going for seventh place, and he did make a mistake near the end of the race in Moto 1 and did take out Max Volan as well, but was unable to hold that position and drop back to 13th after the crash. Moto 2, not a great start, but he did fight his way forward into sixth place. So a solid bounce back there for Levi Kitchen. Unfortunately for Garrett and Levi, again, these guys are tied for third place in points. They are 107 points back in the championship. So unfortunately, it looks like the championship is probably over for both of these guys. It would really be a miracle. Something would obviously have to happen, season-ending things for either Hayden Deegan or Joe Shimoda there for these guys to even have a chance with only 4 races left to go. Seventh place and his best finish on the year, Dylan Schwartz going 11-9. Pretty fortunate with the overall result there with the moto scores, but Dylan Schwartz riding well. We've seen him within the top 12 a lot this year. He's really, really, really fast and digs late in the motos. So 11th place, probably where he belongs. And 9th place, pretty good finish for him there. Again, probably not his best overall finish. I believe he has a 4th or 5th a few years ago. But a solid ride nonetheless. His best finish of the season for Dylan Schwartz. Really cool to see the BarX Yamaha team get into this top 10 and pushing as high as 7th place against all these factory guys. There were so many factory guys in the 250 class, of course. It's really cool to see him in the battle. 8th place, and unbelievable riding by Austin Forkner, really bouncing back. We have not seen anything like this from him yet this year, so really hope this is a sign of things to come. With 4 races remaining, maybe we see him inside the top 5 overall. He did go 9-11 on the afternoon, so again, a little bit fortunate with the math and some rough moto scores from some of the guys behind him, but really good to see some signs of life and some flashes of speed here from Austin Forkner. Did not see much of him on TV all day, but he was fighting and got a good start. Obviously, Triumph has figured something out with the motorcycle. 9th place, Jalik Swoll, 16-5 on the afternoon. Second moto, he was all the way up to 4th, did get passed by Joe Shimoda late in the race, but he's riding really well. Obviously, not what he wanted after, as a follow-up performance to last week's podium. But a good ride nonetheless, proving again that he can be up there with that 5th place in Moto 2. 10th overall, and the last of the Triumph guys, Jordan Smith, 15-8, on the afternoon. Again, didn't see much of him in Moto 1, but a solid ride in 8th place in Moto 2. He started inside the top 10 and moved his way forward just a bit. 11th place overall, Michael Mosman, 5-18 on the afternoon. Really unfortunate in Moto 2 there, but in Moto 1 he was riding well. He was in 5th place. Got in there early and was riding in 5th for almost the entirety of the race. So really good finish, and Mosey showing that he still does have the speed despite a rough second moto. 12th place on the afternoon, Avery Long going 14-12. Solid riding by Avery Long again. Second week in a row, I believe, inside that top 12. Solid riding again from him of the AEO Power Sports KTM team. 13th overall, Max Volan, 10-17 on the afternoon. We need to see him inside the top 10. It's unfortunate to see him dropping back in these motos. Obviously, he was, again, involved with that crash with Kitchen in Moto 1, where I believe they were in 7th or 8th place. But the 17th in Moto 2, I'm assuming something had to happen. Max is much faster than 17th in this class. 14th overall, Tom Biao went 6:40 on the afternoon. He had a really rough crash in the first turn of Moto 2 and pulled off, had to DNF, unfortunately. Did ride well, rode his way forward after not a great start in Moto 1. Did ride well again up to 6th place. 15th overall, Parker Ross, 19-10 on the afternoon. Another moto inside the top 10 for Parker Ross. Really cool to see him and his teammate on the BarX team, Dylan Schwartz, inside the top 10. 16th place, Drew Adams. Didn't see much of him on the afternoon. He did go 8:21. I would assume he crashed in Moto 2. He's much faster. Obviously, just on a bad start, he would have been able to fight his way further into the points in Moto 2, I would assume, after riding an 8th in Moto 1. 17th, Lux Turner, 18-13 on the afternoon. 18th place, Ryder D. Francisco, 17-15. Not a good bounce back from Ryder D after last week. Really wanted to see him kind of hold some momentum from last week, especially in Moto 2, where he rode very well. 19th on the afternoon, Nate Thrasher, 12-20. 20th, Mark Phineas, 33-14. He was riding well inside the top 10 for quite a while in Moto 2. I'm not sure what happened there. He probably just got eaten up. Phineas is kind of on a part-time schedule. This, I believe, is only a second or third race back. Probably does not have the fitness just yet. 21st place, Cole Timbo, 21-16. 22nd on the afternoon, CJ Bernard, 24-19. And 23rd, Jack Chambers, going 20-23 on the afternoon. Joining the 0 points club this week, really unfortunate. Seth Hammaker went 27-39. We did see him pull off in Moto 2 about halfway through the race. In Moto 1, he was actually leading, really kind of let one slip. He had just a small tip over, eventually did go back to 5th place, and then late in that race did have a crash that kind of took him out of the race, I believe, which led him into 27th. It was late in the race. They had lapped up a few guys, so I believe that's where that 27th came from, but just really unfortunate race for Seth Hamaker after seeing himself in the lead. Probably could have been a podium day for him. I definitely let one slip on the afternoon. With all that being said, the points race as they go again. Hayden Deegan, 321 on the season. Joe Shimoda is now 45 points back. And tied for third place, we have Levi Kitchen and Garrett Marchbanks, 107 points back. Over to 450s, and for the 7th time this year, in the 22nd out of 23 attempts in his career, Jet Lawrence takes the overall win, going 2-1 on the afternoon. We did see him go down while leading in Moto 1 early in the race. It was very similar to last week's crash in Redbud, where he just slid out. He did go back to about 15th place, fought his way through the pack, but at that point, Hunter Lawrence was riding so well. He had about a 15-second lead on Jet by the end of the race, and Jet just was unable to get that. He got it down to about 6 seconds, but that was it. Hunter put in a charge and really closed the door there. So second moto, much better for Jet, took the lead and did his patented 2 to 3 second lead the entire race thing, where he just held that on, and Hunter chased for quite a while. He did eventually win by about 6 seconds there, but Jet Lawrence, just another almost perfect weekend. Obviously, without that tip over, things would have been very interesting in Moto 1 with how well Hunter was riding. I would imagine we would have seen a pretty similar moto to what we saw in Moto 2, but always good to see Hunter get a win. Speaking of Hunter, second place overall, Hunter Lawrence for the 4th week in a row. He finishes second place to his brother Jet, going 1-2 on the afternoon, getting his first Moto win of the year. Only the 3rd rider to win a moto this season, along with Jet and Eli Tomac, of course. Second moto he rode just as well, just wasn't able to close that gap on Jet, as we've seen a number of times this year. Hunter is riding incredibly well this season. Would like to see him get a overall win in one of these last 4 races, but Jet is just riding just as well, obviously, if not better. Jet is just such an alien, but Hunter is right there with him. If Jet did not exist, Hunter might be leading this thing by a lengthy margin. I think he's got 39 points over third place at this point. Hunter Lawrence is just riding incredibly well, incredibly efficient, and just is unable to match the alien in Jet Lawrence. Third place on the afternoon, we do have Chase Sexton going 3-3. A good bounce back from last week, where he looked kind of lost in Moto 1. He definitely had the speed in Moto 2 last week, of course. He carried that over. Unfortunately, he did not have the pace of the Lawrence brothers this week, but he did have a solid 3-3. He was beating 4th place RJ Hampshire in both motos by well over 20 seconds, so he was riding by himself for most of these motos, but he did ride well and rode mistake-free. In 4th place, again, RJ Hampshire, as we discussed, kind of as I said last week, RJ Hampshire was going to be the guy to break into that top 5 week in and week out, and he's done that, going 4-4 in the motos this weekend, making some good passes and moving his way forward in both motos. 5th place, and fortunate with some math on the weekend, Justin Barcia going 8-7. Really good riding from Barcia, really aggressive riding, but we've seen him kind of get back to being himself. Really cool to see him back inside the top 5 after only 3 races. Interested to see maybe when the SMX playoffs come, what he has for us. Maybe he can be a player in those races. That would be really interesting to see him back up front. 6th place, and the unfortunate end of the math here with himself and Barcia, going 6th place, going 7-8, the inverse of Barcia there. Malcolm Stewart, who really looked to be riding well, his best racing of the year. He made a lot of passes. He was moving forward, really looked to have some more pace on the rest of the guys. So, again, unfortunate with the math there, but a solid 7-8 to go 6 on the afternoon. 7th place on the day, Eli Tomac, a really weird 6-9 overall finish. In Moto 1, he was up to 2nd place at some point and just went backwards. It was really odd to see. I'm not sure if something went wrong there. In Moto 2, just a rough start. Did race his way forward a bit, but the championship is obviously out of reach at this point. Be really interested to see what Eli has these next 4 weeks, see if he can get back to his early season speed. We do have a week off after Washougal next week, so maybe he just needs some time to reset late in his career. 8th place on the afternoon, Valentin Guillot, 10-6, unbelievable ride in both motos really, but in Moto 2, a 6th place. He got around Barcia and just kind of held on for 6. It was really awesome to see him come over, this obviously being his first season in US, and holding on to 6th place and beating this guy in 9th place, Prado. Prado went 12.5 on the afternoon. Again, he was kind of up front. In Moto 1, did go backwards. Moto 2, much better. He had a really good start. I think he started around 4th and held on for 5th place. He did hold off Guillaume late in the Moto, but of course lost the overall with the 12th place in Moto 1. 10th overall, just a rough day for Justin Cooper. He did have a nasty crash in qualifying, which I would imagine affected him. He did go 5th in Moto 1, but the 13th in Moto 2. He's probably hurting at the end of the day there, if I had to imagine. Not what we're used to seeing from Justin Cooper. A rough couple weeks here for J. Coop. 11th place, Cody Schock, showing again that he can run with the big guys. 9-11 on the afternoon. He had a 3rd place start in Moto 2. Looked like he had something for Hunter very early in that race. Obviously, was riding well. He was in 7th late. Did lose those spots to Barsha, Stewart, Eli, and Tony Cairoli. I can't imagine being someone of Cody Schock's caliber and just seeing these guys come by you, champions in their own right, legends in Eli and Tony Cairoli. But again, a 9-11 on the afternoon, a really solid finish there for Cody. 12th place, Lorenzo Locurcio, another good finish. He rode well, really well last week, but 11-12 in the afternoon, solid riding for Lorenzo. 13th, Harry Kulas, 13-14. I've discussed him the last few weeks, how well he's been riding lately. And he's really bounced back and really taken that momentum that he gained at Southwick. 14th on the afternoon, thank goodness, Colt Nichols, 15-15. All we can ask for after 2 really rough weeks where he did not score points. 15th overall, Tony Cairoli, 23-10. We did see him down in the first turn, or one of the early turns in Moto 1. Obviously had the bike on top of him. We also saw Marshall Welton turn around and help him get the bike off of him. Was unable to fight back into the points there in Moto 1, but a valiant effort to get to 23rd. The 10th place in Moto 2 really showing more of what he's got and where he kind of belongs in this class. I don't know if Tony is continuing on to race any more of these races. Maybe there was talk later in the season. I think he was just going to do these 2, but I believe there was talk of him maybe coming back for Buds or Ironman at this point. 16th on the afternoon, Henry Miller. 14-18, did not see much of Henry Miller, but that's really good riding for him. 17th, Mitchell Harrison, 18-16 on the afternoon. Kind of about where Mitchell Harrison has been all year. Really solid riding there and very consistent on the season. 18th, Benoit Pacharel. I think this is his worst finish of the season, going 16-35. I'd imagine that DNF there in Moto 2. Not sure what happened. Did not see him much on the day. 19th, mentioned this guy earlier, Marshall Welton, 26-17. Again, he did pull off early, was in last place in Moto 1 when he saw Tony Cairoli's bike on top of him, turned around, put his bike down, and picked the Ducati up off of Tony. So really good sportsmanship there by Marshall Welton. Unfortunate to fight his way back only to 26th place. Not sure if that little pit stop there would have saved him. Obviously would have had 5 more places to gain points anyway. So probably the right decision there by Marshall Welton. And he was granted some good karma maybe with that 17th in Moto 2. 20th place, Matty Jorgensen, 19-20. About where Matty's been these last 3 weeks. 21st, Cornelius Tondel, 17 DNF. Unfortunate there in Moto 2 to DNF, but a good ride in Moto 1. 22nd, Romain Pup, 24-19. I think it's just 2 or 3 weeks in a row that he scored points here late in the 20s. 23rd, Bryce Shelley going 20-21. And 24th, and the last guy to score points on the weekend, Jeremy Hand going 21-23 on the afternoon. Unfortunately, joining our 0 points club this week, Aaron Plessinger going 39 DNS. He did pull off in Moto 1. He was riding very well early. I believe he got in a second, got passed by Tomac, got passed by another few guys. I believe he was in about 7th place when he did pull off. Obviously did not look well in the pits and did not start the second moto. He is also not going to race next week. They have announced today that he is taking Washougal off to see if he can get after some of these health issues that he's had. That leads us to the points. Jet Lawrence, 337 points on the season. Hunter Lawrence is now 51 points back. Justin Cooper is 90 points back, and Eli Tomac in 4th place is 91 points back. Everybody else is over 100 points back. Obviously, this has become a 2-man race similar to the 250 class. Hunter Lawrence now over a weekend down, but again, would love to see him maybe try to gain some points on Jet. He's shown that he can do it. He's shown that he can win in this class. He won Moto 1 by over 16 seconds. Obviously, Jet had a fall And we don't really see Jet repeat mistakes often, so it was very weird to see Jet fall in Moto 1 the same way that he fell last week in Moto 2. So hopefully we see that kind of done from Jet Lawrence's side, but we'd love to see another straight-up battle from Hunter Lawrence here. Next week, again, as a reference, we are going to Washougal, Washington. Should be a really interesting race. And that is it for the week. If you want to follow us on X, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify at Not Another Moto Pod. Thanks for listening.